Fabrics woven with the satin weave have a soft, smooth, and lustrous face without any appearance of pattern formation. The number of interlacings between warp and filling yarns is reduced to a minimum. The terms satin and sateen are often confused. Satin is a weave, and sateen is a satin weave constructed with yarns other than silk. Satin weaves are designated by the number of harnesses that are required to weave them. The harnesses are sometimes referred to as shafts. Each end in the repeat weaves differently. Therefore, the number of ends per repeat will be the same as the number of harnesses required to weave the fabric. Satin may be made using as few as 5 harnesses and have been made using as many as 16. The 5-harness satin is the most common. In the 5-harness warp satin, warp yarn 1 sinks under pick 1 and rises over the next 4 picks. This pattern repeats vertically on the same warp yarn. The second warp yarn rises over the first 2 picks, sinks under pick 3, and rises over picks number 4 and 5. It's easy to see that the sinker or binder moves up 2 picks instead of 1, as with a twill. Satin counters must never touch. If they do, then the weave is some type of twill. In subsequent warp yarns 3, 4, and 5, the sinker moves up 2 picks. This movement of the binder pick is referred to as a counter. Therefore, this satin has a 2 counter. The pattern repeat is 5 ends and 5 picks. This 5-harness satin has a 3 counter. Notice that warp yarn 2 moves up 3 picks for the binder. The only possible counters for a 5-harness satin are 2 and 3. Counters 1 and 4 will not work because if the counter is either a 1 or 4, then the weave will be a twill. With the 8-harness satin weave, a 3 or 5 counter is possible. With a 3 counter, the first warp end sinks for 1 pick and rises for the next 7 picks. The next warp end moves up 3 picks for the sinker. The subsequent warp ends 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 follow the same pattern. If a 5 counter is used, then on the first end the first pick is a sinker followed by 7 floating picks. The next warp end moves up 5 picks for the sinker. The subsequent warp ends 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 follow the same pattern of moving 5 picks before weaving the sinker into the fabric.